Happy Monday and welcome back, everyone, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BETSPERTS. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. Feeling less than great on a Monday morning. I'm Alex Christenson. Joining me as always, let's ask him how Father's Day went. We'll try to ease the way in the show unless you and Dan have devised some sort of horrible surprise again today. How are you, Andy? How was Father's Day? Did the kids get you anything nice? Any big meats? What was it like? Break it down.
Yeah, no, it's Be Nice to Alex Day. We're gonna kid gloves, tiptoes, eggshells, all that jazz. Father's Day weekend was good. Could have been better. Oostenhuisen could have held on. I liked it a lot better when he had a 2-stroke lead at 66-1. Drew and I talked about Rahm a couple weeks ago. He's like, should I just bet Rahm? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, he wins maybe, but I just hate betting that price. And then of course he wins and I make myself look silly anyway. But that golf was fun. There was some decent tennis. We had at least one three-set final. The finals had some weird names in it. You hit another outright in women's tennis. If you're not following those outrights, be sure to check those out. They don't often work out to get them at the time the show comes out. So follow Alex on Twitter. He hits his outrights on there. I think that's 5 women's outrights yet this season, which is pretty effing good considering we're only halfway through the season. And then, the meat situation was good. Got to the butcher shop, couldn't decide between a ribeye and a New York strip. Bought both. Just bought both. Said I'll grill one for lunch and I'll grill one for supper. Had some fun with the kids. The weather wasn't as bad as it made out to be. Just hung out, watched some golf, ate some food. Yeah, I should have done pictures. Last night was the New York strip steak with grilled asparagus, homemade stuffed mushrooms, loaded baked potatoes. Way too much. I actually don't feel good right now. I boiled some shrimp as well. Kids, I don't actually feel great today, but yeah, some decent basketball, some decent golf. Fun weekend.
The golf
overall.
Was frustrating. Did you get to watch a lot of it? I was so annoyed at the way Louis was playing. Like he had no idea he was a stroke behind, it seemed like at certain points. Like it seemed to think he could par his way out and win. It was weird.
I don't know if I'd be super happy with my caddy, but as far as his caddy goes, like he gets a chunk of that. He gets a chunk of the winning ticket or the purse for second place. Like you could go for that green. You're never going to hold that green, but
try.
You could tin cup it and then maybe lose a few. I don't know how much money he could have lost. You see what Bryson did. Bryson had an 8. Anybody who had top 5, 10, 20 tickets for Bryson, that had to feel bad. And I'm getting some shit for not eating veggies. I said I had asparagus, and truthfully, the vegetable garden, it's just too early. I did have a couple salads. The leaf lettuce is ready, but all the other vegetables take so long. We'll have peas here in a bit. Tomatoes are almost done. But yeah, I do eat too much red meat. That's why I feel awful on Monday. Also, I had some 76ers exposure. I had some Usti exposure.
I went back and did the math. It was still a good bet. We beat the pants off that number, but Glenn Rivers let us all down, and I'm calling him Glenn. I don't care what everybody else calls him. He doesn't deserve whatever that name is. Glenn let us down. You go back and watch that game. It's just a mess. The lineups were a mess. Shake Milton doesn't play till the fourth quarter. 21 minutes of Tyrese Maxey just because Rivers roulette worked out in Game 6. It's depressing and sad for all sorts of levels. I know that everyone's ragging on Ben Simmons this morning, but any coach I think would realize that maybe Ben Simmons isn't a point guard. He's probably a center. And maybe instead of playing him like a point guard, maybe you just eliminate those Dwight Howard minutes and play him at center. Not that I've spent entirely too much time watching this, but I did promise my grandfather that I would mention that he, as a Sixers fan since he was 16 years old in the 1940s, is just completely disappointed and absolutely astonished at how badly this has gone. And I told him I'd mention that. I was with the family yesterday. I was watching the game on the couch with my mom and my dad. My now wife, Tori, laughed at us yelling at the TV. So it was quite the experience. And yes, I am used to disappointment, Patrick. It's part of being a Philadelphia sports fan. Anguish
comes with the territory. And yeah, no games tonight. There's no NBA to look at tonight. And, the series prices, we're going to pull them up right now. We're through one game. So I can't say like they're both very lopsided. They are now that the Suns and Clippers have played one. But to be fair, the Suns have yet to win, or the Clippers have yet to win a game one. They kind of come out, somebody in the chat was mentioning they play around with rotations a little bit to start the series and have been eking by so far. So hopefully the Clippers can get things figured out, make a series of that one. Bucks Hawks, thoughts on that, Alex, as far as maybe a handicap or a total? I know some places are going to have that.
It's yeah, again, it's hard for me having watched what the Hawks just did. I think that they are going to be more competitive than this line indicates. I don't know if I'm going to be betting the Hawks to win the series, but I might look at some game total overs, things like that. Just didn't have time this morning to poke into this stuff, so I'll have some of that tomorrow if I do attack this series. But as you look at what Atlanta can do from depth, I mean, if Bogdanovich can stay healthy and keep playing, they have enough guys. And what Collins allows you to do from a defensive perspective is going to be really interesting. I'm curious to see how he does. Milwaukee, I'm pretty sure beat up on Atlanta the 3 times they played this year. So we'll see. But Atlanta's a little different team now that they're all kind of together. So I'm going to go back and look at this. My first blush reaction is it's probably a little too deep of a price on the Bucks, even though I feel really good about them winning the series. Again, I might look at some overs or things like that. The Suns Clippers, you mentioned that the Clippers have made a point of it to start series playing more players, which can be a little slower and more clunky. And although you really would have liked them to get that game with Chris Paul not on the floor tonight, if you felt good about the Clippers before game 1, I don't see why you wouldn't now. I mean, I don't. Without Kawhi Leonard, I'm not betting on the Clippers. But if you were someone of that mindset, I don't necessarily know why you'd be devastated that they lost game 1 on the road. I don't think that makes it big of a change. And this to me actually seems like a little of an over adjustment for that. But again, no Kawhi. I'm not betting the Clippers. And we'll come back to the Hawks probably tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not. And honestly, like I looked at this, I said, "Oh, Bucks Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I guess it's time for me to start handicapping football for the year." Like I'm not excited about this at all. And so, I mean, Suns are a fun team. I like them.
It could be an incredible under series.
I
this
think
is all
I think
under season.
Yeah,
we're gonna find some. One of these games is going under 190.
We should, we'll have to dig into the all unders. I'm down with that. So. I did forget to mention as we went through the weekend, we had some Euro action starting. Was yesterday the first? I believe yesterday was
the first doubleheader.
The first doubleheader. So these games will be played at the same time in the groups, so that you can't have any shenanigans, any skullduggery, as Patrick said, any hijinks in these games, because you won't know what the result of the other game in your group is so far. So we do have some, there's teams that have been eliminated. There's teams that are already completely locked in. The Ukraine is the first match. I just said these games are played at the same time, and then I said the Ukraine is the first match of the day. But there are 2 sets of games today. Actually, I'm gonna have my picks for the other ones later. I just didn't have enough time to properly handicap my darts that I'm throwing. Although I maybe of a mind of just finding some plus number stuff I like and splitting. That's what I did yesterday. I made a few bucks.
Yeah,
I got two
coins plus money coins.
Plus money coins. Yeah. The over was dead, especially once we had that red card. But my -1 for the Swiss looked good. Turkey is really, really bad. Now they're really, really gone. Ukraine, Austria, this is a dumb match, because like they should try to tie. You won't see the stuff you've seen like 20 years ago, where these teams will, the goalie used to be able to just like hold the ball and walk around with it. And you'd see some really shitty soccer before they changed some of those rules about kicking it back to your own goalkeeper. So maybe some slow play here, but I just think Ukraine's better. If we do get the draw that both teams need, I get a push on this. I think Ukraine can win this game. I've bet on Austria a couple times. I've bet on the Ukraine. I like them to win this game, getting plus number. So this is a pick or a draw no bet. This is a DNB. If it draws, you get a push. If it's a tie is just a push, that it seems likely. The tie has been beat down so hard in this, it's almost even money, like 50-50,
wow.
Essentially implied odds for a tie compared to a team winning this one. So take it easy on this one. I am just playing the pick. And then I almost played North Macedonia team total over 0.5. I looked at it was like -120. I'm like, oh, that's what I want. I want that. Macedonia has been an annoying team. They are not good, but they're good enough to be bothersome to play. And I mean, they've showed that a couple times. If they scored here, they'll have scored in all 3 matches. Netherlands can be beat defensively. This may be a bad lineup for the Netherlands. Again, I haven't seen XIs yet, but we we are locked in here. Like the Netherlands doesn't need to play this match. They might still win with their backups anyway. It could be a KG lineup where we see some young players, although it is in Amsterdam. So if you're a backup on this Netherlands team and you're playing you're not playing a lot. It's like the guy trying to block punts in the 4th preseason game, just going hard to absolutely make the team. So I mean, if there are some younger players, some lesser knowns that play for this team, they will still be playing hard. So I do have both teams to score at -109, just because it is a cheaper price than playing Macedonia to score a goal. I think keeping Netherlands off the score sheet is going to be tough. This total is 3.25. The Netherlands team total over is 2.5. They're expected to score a couple here. So I'm looking for a bunch, not only, some backups, but probably going to use all 5 subs, get some fresh legs in there too. So I think we could see kind of a wild match. It wouldn't surprise me if we had 4 or 5 goals in this one. So I lean to the over in that one too. And like I said, these both start in 15 minutes. The other ones start at, looks like 3 Eastern. So Finland, Belgium, Russia, Denmark. I'll take a look at those later on. I'll tweet that out. Otherwise, yeah, hopefully let's just I think I can win
David Alaba
today.
David Alaba assist. I'm going with that prop again.
Alaba assists again. We'll
looks like it's 4-1. I'm going to poke around and see if I can find a 5-1. But I sprinkled that, and that was honestly a lot of fun to watch for him. I know Dan likes him passing for goals maybe a little more than he does scoring for goals. So
there was somebody had 3 assists the other day. So yeah, that would have been a nasty prop. And somebody asked, can you pick up North Macedonia on a map yet? It's in the Balkans. Like,
north of Greece.
If you get a small enough map, big enough finger, just mash it on the Balkans. There it is. It's near Slovenia. All right. You put on some WTA bets Sunday, and I really don't think you knew the order of play at that point.
Well, no one does.
No one does know, but these aren't even going to be played today. I think they're overnight tonight. This is going to be early in the morning overnight at Eastbourne.
Well, we don't know. So there's a bunch of tennis going on. Wimbledon is coming up. We're going to have Wimbledon next week, which means there's going to be Wimbledon qualifiers. There is a men's and women's event in Eastbourne, which we'll talk about some picks there in a second. And those events look like there's going to be rain just about every day. We might have a clean couple days here tomorrow, the day after, maybe 3 in a row if we get lucky. But it's just going to be really dicey. So all of these are first round matches. They're all on the docket. Maybe they'll be played tomorrow. Maybe they'll be played on Wednesday. I have no idea. I really don't think anyone does, given what the weather is. Again, these are outdoor events. If it rains, they can't be out there playing tennis. So they just have to wait it out. Secondly, there's also going to be a lot to figure out this week because I think we're going to have some players forced to place 2 matches in a day. Everyone, again, also looking ahead to Wimbledon next week. So just a lot to take into account. It's really a messy week. But we'll start here. We've got 3. Coco Gauff's playing, Andy. You know what we're doing. Coco Gauff, Elise Mertens, they're hanging 21.5. Again, we're on grass, so I'm fine with that number. Played over 21.5. I would actually play that up to -115. If you're looking at something more expensive, maybe try to see if you can get an over 22 at like plus something, maybe -105 is probably okay. But, to over 21.5, those have been great for us. They should continue to be good. Both are competent grass players so far. Again, Gauff is young and doesn't have a lot of experience on grass, but neither do a lot of women, especially even someone who's a little bit of a veteran at this point like Mertens. So we'll take the over there. We're also going to back Alina Svitolina. Really like her in this match. I'm sorry, I actually forget who she's playing. I forgot to write it down. But she's laying 2.5 games here.
Badosa.
That's right, against Badosa, who has been really good for us in hard court season. But again, not a lot of experience on grass. Svitolina actually is pretty solid on the surface in the few runs that she's had. Just really like her -2.5, -3 at plus money or less than standard juice is okay as well. But like the 2.5 there. And then we're going to go one more over, almost as good as Coco Gauff overs, our Allison Risk overs on grass, people. And on top of that, she's playing Veronika Kudermetova, a player we've talked about and backed quite a bit. This should be a fun, competitive match. I think it's going to be 2 very long sets, possibly 3. So over 21, over 21.5 is okay. I saw some 21.5s out there. That's fine. Any of those numbers, really. So 2 overs for us, and a favorite will lay the games there instead of going with the money line, because I don't like the money line, but I actually, when I look at the correlation here, they're a little behind on that. So 2.5 is pretty good. 3's okay.
Sure. I'm body. I get down with that. especially that I already bet the golf over. You put that out on Sunday. Like I said, almost got an outright. A couple of those top 20s, 2 of the 5 top 20s hit, and they were both almost 2-1. So I made a little bit of money on the top 20s. Matchups didn't do too bad. No hole in one. That was nice. Almost got my top lefty. A lot of lefties made the cut. That sucked. I think Harmon ended up taking top lefty. My guy couldn't quite do it as the biggest. I think the biggest underdog. I think he was 550 was the biggest number on that. So we'll be back to the well. Travelers, we're heading up to. God, it's like a Cromwell or it's Cromwell, Connecticut. TPC River Highlands. This is a nice shorter course, much shorter course. So a little different approach here. Yeah. But I mean, this is it's under 7,000. This is gonna be I tweeted this out. It's a little tricky once we get to approaching the green tomorrow. I have a 58 to contend with. This is where Jim Furyk shot a 58 a couple years ago. It's par 70.
Local guy.
Yeah, local, but it's par 70, so it'll be tough. Getting 13 under or better is going to be tricky, but yeah, Paul Casey, somebody I bet last week is a top 20. He ended up top 10, played well. Much easier field this week. There's still some top names here. You have some big names. Wouldn't surprise me if a 1 or 2 dropped out. Maybe not 2, but a name or 2 could drop out. But Reed, Berger, Cantlay, Johnson, Answer, Finau. There's some Scheffler, DeChambeau, Homa. There's some decent names here. I think I'm looking at this is the Travelers Field now, but yeah, I'm not taking any of the short names, even though it did cash last week with Rahm. Casey Streelman's a guy I've been after kind of a little bit in matchups, but I haven't backed him as an outright. I'll probably have a top 20 on basically any of these guys that aren't Paul Casey, just because his numbers can be a little short. That might be a top 10 bet to go along with that one as well. But Streelman has played well of lately. He was top 20 at the US Open, top 20 at Memorial, top 20 at Charles Schwab, 8th at the PGA. I'm not sure he's getting quite the respect he deserves, although this number is a little lower compared to where you'd normally see a Streelman. And then just Hoffman and Tringali, some bigger names that I like. Charlie Hoffman, he's a pain in the ass to bet, but I think he does get there too. And Cameron Tringali, 90-1. This is definitely going to be a top 20 bet that I make, but I will feel bad if I don't have the outright as well. So those are my 4 for now. I'll have more out tomorrow as we get to approaching the green. I'll have all my bets. I'll have some matchups. I'll have some daily matchups once we get to Wednesday. We'll have some props, and we'll go from there. Just tweeted from the Brown Bag Bets Twitter account, at Brown Bag Bets on Twitter. Your risk-free bet is now available in even more states. I got more links up there if you're in Virginia, if you're in Tennessee, if you're in Indiana. Feel free to support us, support the show by clicking that link, getting a new account, getting your $500 risk-free bet. If you're trying to figure out how to use it, feel free to Twitter us, DM us, whatever. I have some old articles that kind of explain some of the math on why you want to go with a big underdog on some of these risk-free and free bets. There's some good resources you can find there too. Otherwise, links are in the new tweet. I'll pin that tweet when I get off the air here, and we'll catch you tomorrow, huh?